Okay, hi, this is Rob. I'm just going to look at some of the things that I've bought fairly recently for the FZ-09. Some of this stuff has been bought over the past year, I just haven't got around to installing it or using it yet. So, chain alignment tool, I'm going to use that right now. I'm going to adjust the chain. What else do we have in here? Steering damper, which I'm not sure I'm going to actually install. LED headlight, so that's going to go on. GB racing covers, new tail light, which I'm going to do today as well. That's the bracket for the steering damper, the Chinese copy. I think that's everything. Okay, so I'm going to need this and this. Okay, this stuff will go back in the box for another time. Okay. Okay, so you need to check the chain for slack. The best thing to do is to look at it in the middle of the chain. So you can see here my chain's moving about 1.5 to 2 inches. I'm just looking to see if there's any tight spots. Ideally you should adjust the chain where it's the tightest, but as I went along the chain here I couldn't really find any tight spots. It was pretty much the same all the way around. So I'm just going to move the tape up just to check, see how much it's moving. It's about 1.5 to 2 inches. I think Yamaha basically say should be about 1 inch or less, but it's a little bit tight on factory specs, so I'm just going to do it, play it by ear basically. So second thing you've got to do is undo the axle bolt or the nut on the axle. So I'm checking the thread here. I had a go at it and it wasn't budging, so I thought I'd better check the thread just to see which way it's supposed to turn, just in case I'm doing it the wrong way. Been known to do that in the past. So should be pushing down on it. You hear it click. It took a bit of force to get it moving. Obviously it hasn't moved since I bought the bike, so it's been tightened up at the factory pretty tight. I think it's around 100 to 110 pound-feet when you do it back up. If you use a breaker bar, you should have no issue getting it undone. It's a 27mm socket. So it's like 1/16 of an inch, I think. Not sure. Everything on this bike seems to be in metric anyway, so it's pretty useful to have all the right tools. So I took the nut off completely. You don't really have to do that. That's just me making a newbie mistake. You can see how much it moves, how much the wheel can move. That's how slack the chain is. So you want to make sure that it's up against the adjusters when you push it back in. So there's two nuts. There's a locking nut and there's a nut that moves the adjuster in and out. So it's just 12mm wrench used to undo the nuts. Once you've got the axle undone, the locking nut will be pretty free anyway. So I decided to adjust it about five turns, just to see if that was going to give me the right amount of slack. So when you're checking the amount of slack that you've got after you've adjusted the wheel, ideally you should put something like a screwdriver or something between the sprocket and the chain, just to tension it up, and it basically pulls the axle back towards the adjuster. Make sure everything's tight. If you do what I did just there and try and check it with the screwdriver in, then it doesn't move at all. Another newbie mistake. First time I've done this. So I'm basically looking there, it's moving around about 1 inch, which is sort of what I want. So I'm going to tighten up that locking nut just to keep that one exactly in place. This is my first time adjusting the chain on a motorbike. I'd been putting it off for a while, knowing that it needed to be done because the chain was getting pretty slack. But once I've done it this once, you know, it's a really easy piece of maintenance to do. I'm definitely going to feel confident doing it in the future. So to make sure the other side is adjusted, ideally what you can do is adjust the adjuster the same number of turns. But if you're taking the wheel off, or if you're doing any more maintenance where you're moving the wheel around, you can get yourself an alignment tool like this one, which just goes on top of the chain, clamps onto the sprocket. I think this one's by Motion Pro, and it just has a little metal bar that sticks out, and you align it with the top of the chain and just have a look and see that it's all straight. If the wheel's not straight, if the sprocket's not in line with the chain, then it puts extra stress and wear on different parts of the bike, and you don't really want it to be jumping off or anything. You need everything in alignment. So you can see how much the wheel can still move around. Ideally what you should do is adjust the chain side first and then adjust the alignment using the other side, and then that makes sure that the slack stays the same. So don't adjust both sides at the same time. Do the chain side first and then do the other side to get the alignment right. Make sure you tension the chain every now and again just to pull the wheel in to the adjusters. Take a bit of a closer look. Get the torch right in there. You can see that little metal rail, the bar that sticks out, is in alignment with the chain. If you want to have a better look, you can take the chain guard off, but to be honest I couldn't be bothered for this because I wasn't taking the chain off. Okay, so on this side need to make the same adjustment as the other side. Tighten it up now. The adjustment's already been made. The chain's in alignment, so I just got to tighten the locking nut. Okay. And put the axle nut back on. Hand tighten it. Just make sure if your axle's got like a square end on it, that it's up against the adjuster, that it's not at an angle. Those adjusters are fairly soft, so if you tighten it up and it's not aligned right, you can actually squash the metal a bit on the adjuster. So just make sure it's lined up and it's pushed all the way in. And then, as I said, around 100 to 110 pound-feet on the torque wrench to get it done up. Just give it one more check. Make sure it's still going around smoothly, everything is in alignment. Okay, job done. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.